Hi, in this video we're going to talk about how to create object of a class. As in the previous video you have seen, I have created a class by the name person in a separate file in my application. Now, in the same application we have program.cs file, and inside that program.cs file main function, I'm about to create an object of or instance of this person class. So this is how it's done. If you would like to create an instance of the class, first of all, call the constructor. So there it goes, new person, and you have got a parameterized constructor as well as default constructor. As you can see from the IntelliSense, it's showing one of two. That means I have got another constructor, and this is your parameterized constructor where you can pass some arguments. So let's say, for example, for the moment, I'm just commenting this line, and from console, let's take some argument related to this person data. So I'm going to write certain line like console.writeLine, and there it is. Let's ask about name of the person as entered by readLine method. So I'm about to accept the name of that person, sorry. So there it goes, console.readLine method, using which we are accepting the name of the person, then followed by, once again, say location, and there goes the location. Third one is unique ID of the person, which is an integer. So I have to accept the value via readLine method, and then I have to convert it into integer. As you know that in C# there exists an explicit conversion, and for that we have two different techniques. One is convert classes methods I can take, or the data types to method, I mean the data types as a parse method that we can also use. So let's first of all accept the value from console. There it goes, ID, and you're accepting a value which is going to be, say, string person ID, which is a string value as accepted, returned by readLine method. Afterwards, I'm going to convert it into integer, for which I'm taking the technique of integer methods parse, sorry, integers parse method here, and the value that you are supposed to pass is person ID, and there it comes, integer ID. So all our values are ready. We have accepted them from console in order to be passed via this constructor. So let's see in order. Now first we are passing, as we can see from our IntelliSense, that we should first pass person name. So there goes the name. Next we should pass location. So I'm passing that, and third is I should pass a person ID. Fine. Now this is what you are doing, is that you are calling the constructor, the parameterized constructor, and passing these arguments, these values are as arguments, the name, location, and ID, and that's going to this line when executed is going to create an instance of a class, and you should hold a reference to that instance. So since it's a reference of person type, so I'm going to declare, say, for example, Anil person reference, or simply person reference, and that's a variable which is going to be of type person here, as because the instance is of person type, that's why. Now, so person reference is a reference type variable storing the address or the reference of the person instance created because we call the parameterized constructor. This is how we create instance of a class in C#, and this is how we declare a variable to store the reference of it. Now using this reference, you can invoke any member you like. As for example, we have a function over there which says that get person details, right? So we can call this function and we can get back the person related details as a string from this function, and I'm going to display these details here using console.writeLine method. So let's run this application now. Before that, So what we did is that first we accepted values from console related to person's data or attributes. Then we have instantiated a person class by calling the constructor, the parameters constructor specifically, and passing these values as arguments to that constructor. This right hand side of the equal sign will create an instance of the class, and will have an address of that object stored in this variable of type person, or better to say a reference of the instance created will be stored in this variable of type person. Now using this reference you can invoke the members which are public, means declared with a public access specifier. The members which are private, they cannot be accessed in this way, right? They are already hidden inside the class. We know that feature is known as data abstraction by this time. Before you start looking at this video, you already know what is abstraction or data abstraction in class. So the data members which have been declared as private or by default private cannot be accessed by this reference variable. Only public members are invoked via this reference. So this is how you create an instance. Now let me run this application by going to my build menu. First of all, let's build this application itself, enter solution I'm building. So that makes the application itself will be compiled. And after that, from debug menu, say start without debugging. And as you can see, it's asking to enter the name. So let me enter the name first, which is, for example, Anil. Next, location, which is Bangalore, so for example, and ID, which is 1. And if by the time, as soon as I hit enter, obviously the instance will be created and the reference will be stored in a person reference variable. Then you are invoking the method get person details, and you are going to get the output regarding the person details. This is how you create an instance of a class in C#. You invoke the publicly invocable methods, and this is how you print the output also. So in this video, you learned how to create an instance of a class. In the previous video, you learned how to declare a class and its data member, constructors, and certain methods over there, right? Okay, so in the next video, we're going to see what are the access specifiers of a class.